folks, I'm back at the 175 again today. Engine stripped down again, and I've noticed that the new kickstart shaft that I put on the bike, if you can see, is now bent like the original one was. I do not know what's going on there. I have to be very careful with that or I'll break it again. I've checked all these oil channels. I've ran some WD-40 down them, and the oil seems to be getting to everywhere it needs to get to. So I cannot understand what caused the issue. The only thing I can think of is that the little channel that exists in the bearing was covered somehow, and the oil didn't get to just that one bearing, that one side. Everything else I've checked out. The clutch, I've looked at it. I'm checking the plates here, and there's a main plate at the back with a kind of a ridge on it, and I don't know if I put that in wrong. You're looking at it the way I put it in. I assume that it's the correct way to put it in, but I'll approach some of the guys on the 175 page and find out, just to be sure. And I'm going to piece this back together because I can't find any, seem to find any issues with it. So we'll just have to take our chances and try it. Well, it's getting dark now, and I have checked every single oil canal on this engine, and there's no blockages that I can find. The oil seems to be getting everywhere it needs to get to. I don't know the reason why it done what it done. It may be because the bike lies over on its side quite a bit, and I left it running when it was like that, so maybe the oil wasn't getting to the right hand side because of that. That's a possibility. I'm going to piece it back together now. I did have a look at the clutch, and I wasn't sure if the back plate, the wee ridge, should go facing the cog or against it, but I think it's facing it. There's a wee ridge on the back steel plate. The guys on CD175 page will steer me right if I'm not correct about that. So right, let's piece this back together, and I'll be a lot happier, peace of mind, knowing that them canals are all clear. I have had a look at this. There's a little release valve here with a spring on it, and it's working, so I'm hoping everything's going to be alright now. The oil will get to the top with a bit of luck. Well folks, it's now about a week later from my last video that you've probably seen like 2 seconds ago. The weather in Ireland has just been atrocious the last, I'd say, month or two, and I have not been able to get out to look at this engine because I have no space in my shed left at all now to work, and it is absolutely freezing. And I don't mind saying that I'm a bit of a baby and I don't like going out of the shed when it's cold, but it's a fair day today. This is a Sunday, and I'm going to attempt to try and finish this and rebuild the top end now that I've got my new cam and the bits that I need. This is our new cam ready to go on, and this is our old one, which is pretty rough. It's seen better days because of what happened, but let's get a start and try and get this built before it gets dark. New set of gaskets at my own expense again. Cam at my own expense again. Kickstart shaft, as I pointed out earlier, is bent yet again, and if it breaks I'm not replacing it. I don't know why it keeps bending like that. I haven't seen anything inside that could make it want to do that, but it's what it's doing. I may try and push start the bike rather than kick it, and only kick it if it really needs to be kicked. So that's it. We're gonna open this up and try and get the cam in and everything and get this thing fixed. Just on a starter note, you can see the way the engine's sitting here on the bench, and if you look at this, I'm just going to check the oil level, and as you can see, there's very little oil in that. So that would have been definitely a contributing issue to what happened. Why you didn't have enough oil, it may be because it actually leaked out on me at one stage when I opened up this here panel, when it was to set the timing and everything, and I walked away, and some did spill out over onto a oil sheet I had in the ground. So that must have been a contributing factor, the fact that that all that oil came out, and there mustn't have been enough in the bike then as well. That in conjunction with it sitting on a hill. You can't see my yard the way it is, but it's just a very steep hill there, and the engine was sitting like this, so the pump wouldn't have maybe been fit to lift some fuel, and I had it sitting there just running. So I'm just gonna assume that that's what happened, and because all the oil canals are clear, as you've seen me check in the last video and whatever. So we're just gonna have another go at this and see how we get on. Okay, so as you can see, the top of this engine's pretty oily, which is not a bad sign. It's probably a sign that oil was actually getting to the head of the bikes at some stage. So I'm gonna have to go now and get a bit of petrol on a rag, give that a good wipe down, make sure that that's a dry surface for my new gasket. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Yeah, so I'll wipe that down with a bit of petrol there. This picture's a bit hazy. Let me just give these a rub, see if it makes a difference. Well, maybe we made it worse, but yeah. So I'll rub this surface down with a bit of petrol and a clean rag, and that's dry now and ready to take another gasket. But just a matter of advice that I want to offer yous. If you're going to take and test out stuff to do with your oil and use WD-40, be very careful, because I did that with this bike, and you probably can't see that, but that's quite rough there. It ate into the gasket, so it did, and that gasket would have been fine to use only for that happening. So guys, just be careful what you're using to try and test these things. Otherwise I wouldn't have had to get a whole new set of gaskets, but there you go, that's the way things go. Right, we're going to get this new gasket on now. Okay, so you'll see I've got my gasket back on, and the bottom gasket, brand new. I've also replaced these two seals, even though they were brand new, because I'm just not taking a chance on anything more with this bike. So brand new seals again, either side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little can of oil, and I'm going to squirt a little bit down each side, just to make sure that there's definitely oil in there when I go to start it up, that I'm not going to have to deal with this situation again, hopefully. So give me a second and I'll get my oil can. Now, not everybody has one of these, but it's one of the best little yokes I ever bought, and I've seen lots of mechanic guys who had them working with them, and they're a very handy thing to have. So if you ever see one, pick it up. Good jobs they are. Well, as you can see, you don't be long running out of light around here when you start around 4 o'clock. I've only been at this about 20 minutes. It's getting very dark out here. But I'm slipping the cam in. This is just to show you how it goes in, even though you've seen it on my channel a million times at this stage. You bring your cam chain up, you slide your camshaft in that way, then you try and get your sprocket on and try and get the chain up over it. But make sure that this little now you can't even see it on this, but hold on now. Where is it on it? Does it even have one? Oh, it does, yeah. This little notch for the spark advance, make sure that's at 12 o'clock on the engine when you're putting it in, to make sure you have your timing right, along with this here plate being at the T mark for top dead center. Okay, so on the CB 175, the CD 175, the CL 165, this is how you would put in the cam. Now I have brought this in and I pulled the chain up over the top of this ear. You may have to fiddle and mess with it a little bit, turn it this way and that way for to get that. Then you try and get your sprocket on, you slide it in sort of sideways like the way I have it here. And you'll see when the chain's in the right spot that it should be able to lift up enough to just let it pass. And you'll get it into here. Then you move your chain and you bring it back over the top of it again. Yeah, it's an awkward old thing, but you will get it with a bit of messing around. Now at night time it's very difficult for me to see if I have this exactly right for timing wise. I'm going to take off that plate now in a second to make sure it's at top dead centre. But I have my cam in. This chain will now have to come up over onto the sprocket, and I will have to have that notch facing at 12 o'clock, which I believe it almost is, as you can see there. The T mark lining up with the notch that it's supposed to line up at here, and then I should be able to just mess around and get this chain up on top. Now the first time I done this, it was a half a tooth out and it was making a difference to the way the bike was running, so I had to open it up again, and I did get it right then. So just be careful that you get that right first time, not have to take the engine out of the bike again and everything else to sort it, and you should be grand. Okay, so heads off again. The question is why? Did any of you notice the mistake? I can hear a few of you shouting at the computer screen or phone screen or whatever you're watching on, who's worked on these bikes, screaming at the screen saying you're forgetting something. Well, here it is. The chain tensioner. You have to make sure the chain tensioner is in this before you put it down, and push down as far as it'll go and tighten in on it, and then whenever the job's done you just loosen that up and this will spring out and tension the chain. So make sure you have that in before you put the head on. And just so you can see, before I go to do anything more, I have brought this to top dead centre. You can see the piston sitting on the top here. So they're brought to top dead centre now and ready for setting the timing. I'm just looking at the gasket here to make sure it's alright. I'm not too sure if there's an actual side you put these gaskets on. I mean, it does look kind of the same, doesn't it, both sides, but yeah, hopefully I've got that right anyway. Right, on again to try and put the cam back in. So you'll see from this, I have this at the T mark. T is matching up with the little notch here. I don't know if you can see that, but it is. And if I look up here now and I lift the cam up, make sure you lift the cam up to position to see, and you can see that the notch is at 12 o'clock there, and that is our timing. And you can see that there's two lines on the sprocket. I don't know if you can see them down there, but you'll see them coming out from the screws there, and they are going straight across, which would tell you that the timing is pretty much, hopefully, bang on. It looks bang on to me, and I'm gonna chance it at that. It looks good, so I'm going to put on now the rocker arms and then the cam lobes, or the cam bearings, sorry. Okay, so as you can see, rocker arms are in, cam chains on, hopefully within time. Next thing we're going to do is put on the cam bearings, and as you can see I've got a brand new gasket on this, with the hole for the oil in the right place, and I am going to put this on the right way around, which is with the little teddy bear ears facing downwards. So you can see the oil hole is here, got my little teddy bear ears on the bottom, and if you look here you can see there's the oil hole where the oil should come out. Shit, sorry about that. Where the oil should come out into that little hole and feed the bearing. Okay, so that's going on now on the right way around. Double check, that's definitely the right way around. The ears are at the bottom, so Just try and push that on there a bit. Little tip at the back of the screwdriver or something. Make sure that's going on right. Then we're going to take the other one and we're going to put it on with the same gasket. This is going to have to be cleaned off. There's a little bit there, so just bear with me while I do that. Well, the cam's back in. I have the cam bearings back on. I made 100% sure that I have oil in this head for it starting up. I was round it with the oil can. I was going through every little hole and I was pressuring it into all them holes. I took the bearings off again just to make sure they're going to have oil, and I put oil into them. I pumped oil down these holes here to make sure that it's got a chance and that we're not going to have the same issue again. Now, next thing I'm going to try and do is I'm going to give it a turn over just to make sure that we have the timing right and there's no valves getting hit by the pistons or anything like that. So you give it a run through from the top dead center back to the top dead center, and do that maybe twice. This is a 360 rotation engine, which means that you can't be 180 degrees out because it's a twin. Other twins work a different way than this, but this one, the pistons remain the same at the same level as each other all the time. So that's why you can set the timing from 12 o'clock on the bottom or 12 o'clock on the top, and it'll still be right. Well, as far as I know. So that's it, guys. I'm going to now put the cap back on. I'm going to torque down this head after I give it a roll over, and I'm going to set me valve clearances. I'm going to put it back in the bike then. Might not be tonight that I do that, but I will put it back in the bike, and I'll set my spark timing then, and with a bit of luck we'll give it a go and see how we get on. I will have to get more oil for it and make sure that it has enough. I don't think it has enough right now, and that's probably partly the cause of the issue. I do have one bolt left to put in the cam sprocket, so that's why I'll be rolling it over anyway. Besides that, I don't know what else to tell you. I guess my usual saying, time will tell whether it's right or wrong, and hopefully it's right and I'm not out of fortune again trying to fix it. There you go for now. Okay, so all torqued down on the top, engine's all back together. Starting to set the valve clearances now, and this is with an 8 wrench. You just get in here with your 8 wrench and you loosen that up, and there's a little, you can see, little piece there that screws. And in order to set it, the settings for a CD 175 are usually 0.05, but just to be on the safe side, I'm making this 0.06 just to make sure I have enough clearance. So you would slide it in under like that. Well, you can see that that's quite loose there, so you would adjust it enough that it just slides in no more, and that would be it. Then you would tighten it up, and hopefully it'll stay that way, but do check them when you give the engine a couple of rotations. Check it again, make sure it's right. But that's what I'm doing right now. You can see this is no, it won't focus. No, it won't focus. It's a 0.06 anyway that I've got here. You can just about see it there. Right, so I'm going to do that with each one of these. There's no point in showing you me doing it because, well, number one, I'm having a tripod to put this phone on so that you can, I can record it for you, and I need both hands. So I'm sorry about that, but until I get a new tripod and everything else, I won't be able to show you these things. Okay, I'll see you in a few minutes, guys. Yeah, so that's engine built up, valves set, valve clearances, all torqued down. Have a new nut to get for that because some of the threads were wrong on one of them. I think I have a spare in the shed somewhere, but God knows how I'm going to get to it. Yeah, the only thing that's left to do is there was a little seal gone in here. Hold on now, let's see if that light's just not going to do it here. Hold on. Right, I'll turn that off and I'll put on my torch and see if that'll help you. Yeah. So you'll see in here, just where the clutch is. It's too bright. Right, see that bargain in there? It's a little out of focus, but you can see it there. There's a seal there and it's gone. And I did get a new one for it, but I've kind of misplaced it for now and I'm not quite sure where it is. So I have to go and try and find that now, and if I can't find it tonight, I'll do it another night, but that has to be replaced. So I'll go and look for that now. And just before I do go to look for the seal, you can see from having to rebuild this engine so many times that the lovely paint job that I've done with spilling petrol on it and everything else is now destroyed. And so when I make sure that this engine is running right, then I'll repaint it, but I'm not repainting it before then. And it's just a shame that I really do have to go and repaint it again, but what can you do? I mean, it looks terrible. So I mean, the customer never really asked for it to be painted in the first place, but then when he seen it painted, he thought it was a great job. So I think it'd be nice to repaint it and have it nice for him. I mean, I could wash it with boiling hot water and it might come up okay, but no, I think the best thing to do is to try and repaint it. Right, I'll go and try and find that seal here and let's get the job done. Well, that's it guys, I found my seal and I put it back in, and I changed it. We're just going to have to see where we go from here. I'm not going to try and start it or anything until I get more oil and put more oil into the engine. That's number one. I have to set the spark timing yet, but I can't do that until I put it in the bike. I think the next step is we'll put the engine back in the bike and see how we get on. That's all I can do. For anyone who's looking for a spare head for a CD175, I have one here. This is the cam that I kind of wasn't happy enough to use, but it is usable. The reason I didn't use it was because it's not my bike, and I was afraid that it being a friend's bike, it might F something up. So I didn't use it, but from I smoothed that out, that is quite decent and pretty usable. So for anyone that wants that head, I mean, there's valves, good valves in it, and valve springs, and it's all there, like. So give me a shout if you want it. What about my shed? Well, I have just been I've just been held back so much with all of this stuff because I don't have a place to work. Look at this for a mess. I just be in that big a hurry. Like, I'm only getting a chance to work on it when I get a chance, and only get a certain length of time, and then I haven't time to clean up, and I just leave all there, and so it ends up like this. And there's half of my CB125 RS sitting here, and I tried to make it as tidy as possible. Bits of the Bandit, they were bits that I replaced. Of the NSU, it's all in this tiny little shed, you see, and this SH50, which I'm selling, by the way. Look, I just can't work like this anymore, and I've been looking around to see if I can rent a shed somewhere that's bigger than this, to give me a chance, you know, give me a chance to work, because every time I get a chance to work, I just don't even want to face this shed. It's that bad. And I haven't had time to come in and just clear all out and tidy it up, because every time I try to clear it out, it's bucketing rain out here and it just literally destroys the place, and I can't pull anything out into the rain. So don't know what to do about it. I'm just gonna have to grin and bear it for now and see if I can get a shed to work in. I do have a friend who offered me a bit of a shed, but it's very damp, and I don't really want to be putting motorbike parts like these sets of forks and things in a shed like that with a clay floor on it. It's just not ideal, unfortunately, but it does have a lot of space in it. If I put a wooden floor in with a polythene underneath, maybe it'd work, but I just don't want to take that chance. And it was good of him to offer me it. So that's it, guys. I've so much I could be doing. I mean, I have a yard to clean up here as well. It's an absolute mess. And now that I've got that bike engine back together, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy that I got that far, and it'll leave me that I can do other things. Have to get that engine back into that bike, and hopefully I'll get it running right and not have any problems. And we'll start to paint up the frame then, and the tank and the tank and all the other wee blue bits. Just the chrome, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's not in good shape. They shouldn't even have chrome mudguards anyway. They're not the correct ones. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you've not seen my videos before, please go back and look through if you like, and subscribe, and don't be afraid to comment. Thanks, and a big shout out to Andy XL Restorations there for your comment the last day. Chin up. Yeah, my chin is up now. I've got it together again, and I am going to have to repaint it, but that's the least of me worries. I just want to have it running right. And the clutch is a bit odd on these bikes too. I have to figure out how that works, because it was slipping a bit. And I did check the plates and everything when I had it out, and it didn't seem to be too bad. So it was something to do with the settings. Because as you remember, if you look back at my videos, I did put in a new clutch into the bike because I broke the basket. But look, to be honest, I just can't wait to see the back of it, because it really hasn't been an easy job, this bike. It's just been one thing after the other. But there you go. Right, guys, signing off. Demon 690. Thank you.